The rich playboy rejected the childhood heiress, saying he only saw her as a little sister. To make the heiress give up, he picked the penniless wallflower on the sidewalk and made her his. He fought her battles, wrecked his friendship with the heiress and the rest of their circle for her sake. Later, when the heiress agreed to marry someone else, he panicked and started the chase that would scorch him. Everyone said the prince had finally found his way home. He and the golden girl were meant to be. The wallflower had only been a stopover, fun for a fling, but marriage needed pedigree. Yes, I was that penniless wallflower. The day I decided to break up with Ashton, I hit send on the message and he shot back a single word: get lost. So I took the money he'd once given me and the deed to the condo, packed at lightning speed, and just as ordered got lost. 1 inch. Ashton's waiting inside, Blair said, pointing toward the freezer vault. The steel door clanged shut behind me the instant I stepped in. I spun around, pounding and screaming, but no one answered. Ever since I started dating Ashton, his friends had made it clear I didn't belong, yet I never thought they'd be this blatant. Frigid air bit through my sweater, I hugged myself, teeth chattering. Headlines of people freezing to death in locked freezers flashed through my mind and terror swallowed me. At the party outside, apart from Ashton, who would even notice I was missing, let alone come looking? Minutes crawled, then hours, until my fingers stopped bending and my eyelids drooped. He'll come, he has to, I chanted inside my head. To keep from drifting into the sleep I might never wake from, I replayed every memory I had of us. The afternoon we got together, I was working the campus gate food truck strip, flipping a sizzling rice noodle platter for the dinner rush. Nana's medical bills were devouring every dime, and he appeared like a mirage, the crown prince of Sterling himself. He held up his phone in silent neon capitals, "Be my girlfriend $50K a month." I figured the walk smoke had blurred my vision. When I didn't answer he upped it to $100,000. Before my brain could catch up, my mouth said yes. Only later did I learn the deal had nothing to do with me. He needed a stand-in to convince Vivian he only saw her as a kid sister. Coincidentally Vivian and I shared a lecture hall, she was the moon while I was the roadside weed nobody noticed. 2. I was too ordinary, so ordinary that campus gossip refused to accept Ashton could fall for me. Vivian, of course, was even less willing to lose to someone like me. One flick of her manicured fingers and the Blairs of the world charged, which was how I ended up locked in a freezer. Just like in the novels, prince ditches heiress, prince dates poor girl, heiress tears poor girl to shreds. Except I never claimed to be noble, I was soft, obedient, water that took any shape it had to. I didn't dare anger Ashton, he paid too well. Boyfriend and benefactor in one, he was the only raft I could cling to while Nana's surgery bills flooded every doorway. At first we were only a contract. Maybe girls like me were exotic fauna to him, he said he liked my weed level will to survive. Then one drunken night we crossed the last line, and everything shifted. People kept betting he'd dump me within a semester, yet 3 years later we were still together. The student body had adjusted, his inner circle never did. I'd swallowed every insult because each insult came with cash that bought Nana another day. Even now, I didn't regret it. 3. But it was so cold. How much longer, Ashton? When he finally yanked the door open, I'd already gone numb, knees tucked to my chest against the wall. The moment his outline blurred into view, I let the darkness take me. He scooped me up, barked a 911 call, and carried me out. I woke to shouting beside my hospital bed. "You're out of line, apologize now," Ashton snapped at someone on his phone. Whatever the reply, it made him hang up in a hotter rage. He turned, saw me awake, and wrapped my hand in both of his. "I'm sorry," he whispered. My lips parted, but only a faint shake of the head came out. During the party Blair had insisted he was waiting in the vault, her urgency seemed off, yet I couldn't reach Ashton by call or text. The second I walked in, the bolt slammed shut. A public trap because Vivian's signature didn't need to be on the dotted line for her enemies to know the assignment. Thank God he'd found me. "This is on me," he said. "Quinn refuses to apologize or admit she ordered it, but you'll get justice plus compensation." I nodded weakly. "Stay with me?" He squeezed my fingers. Wild horses couldn't drag me out. Relief washed over me until the tray arrived. He insisted on spoon-feeding me himself. Before the bowl was empty his phone rang. His face shifted from irritation to alarm. "Quinn jumped in the lake," he blurted. "She says she knew nothing about the freezer and I wouldn't believe her, so she tried to prove her innocence. He was already on his feet. I have to go. Don't overthink it, she's just a sister to me." The door clicked shut, leaving the room hollow. Every time I almost believed I mattered, Vivian's shadow pulled him away. We'd never been a love match, so why expect loyalty? "Weren't you actually toweled? Too bad the cold didn't finish you." Blair barged in without knocking. Under the blanket my fists clenched. He still ran to him the second she cried "Know your place and crawl back to whatever gutter you came from. Today was your warning." The chill I'd just escaped crept back into my bones. When I stayed silent, she raised a hand to slap me, then opted to pinch my chin. "Pitiful little mute, his pinky is worth more than you. Keep testing him, you'll see whose side he's on." "I'll wait," I said, meeting her glare. Minutes later Ashton ushered Vivian in. Blair straightened like a poodle spotting its owner. "I already said sorry, but she won't let it go," she whined. She even accused Quinn of ordering the lock-in and threatened revenge. I didn't bother correcting her. Video cameras were conveniently absent and Vivian had final veto power. "Blair didn't mean to trap her," Vivian pleaded, eyes misty. "If you can't forgive her, I'll sit in that freezer myself until you do." Ashton barked, "Stop the theatrics, you'll end up in ER again." He turned to me. "Blair acted alone. She'll pay 7 figures if that helps." He knew money gagged me, that had always been our shorthand for closure. I looked at the trio and answered, "For Ashton's sake, forgiven." Disgust flickered across both women's faces. I filed it away. The sum was pocket change to them, life or death to Nana. My pride had never outranked her pulse. 5 Once I accepted the deal, Ashton exhaled and went to walk them out, promising to return. The wire hit my account. Sunshine replaced the overhead fluorescence until Nana's attending physician rang. She coded. "We couldn't bring her back. Your boyfriend signed the consent when we couldn't reach you. My condolences." I stared at the screen, willing the name to be a typo. Multiple missed calls clogged my log, all from the hours I'd been unconscious. Ashton had never mentioned the emergency oversight or mercy. I'd never know. The last time I'd seen her she'd squeezed my hand. "Stay with Cialan, he'll look after you." Now I'd missed the final goodbye. If I hadn't been locked in ice, maybe I could have been there to say it. I staggered down the corridor and into her room. She looked smaller than life, already belonging to another world, only a meter away yet unreachable. I dialed the funeral home, tears dripping onto the screen. A hand snatched the phone. "Ashton." He crushed me to his chest. "You scared me. I'm so sorry. You still have me." While I sobbed against his shirt, he arranged everything. "Undertaker, flowers, notices efficient, impeccable." He always arrived drenched in hope right when I'd run out, and I could never tell how much was guilt, how much was love. 6 weeks slid into a hush. Without Nana, Ashton became my only gravity. Maybe, I thought, quiet forever wasn't a bad fate. Then his mind began drifting when he thought I wasn't looking. Instead of asking, I opened my laptop. The headline blared, "Hawthorne Empire on brink, heiress to wed into old money huo clan." So Vivian's world was cracking, mine had already collapsed. I felt no pity, only a chill of satisfaction until it hit me, his distraction wore her name. We were never equals. I didn't dare break the stillness with questions. That night I traced the frown line between his sleeping brows, smoothing it with my thumb. 7 He started coming home late. Our 4th anniversary arrived, the candlelit dishes cooled while midnight came and went. I spooned the food into a thermos and rode his private elevator to Sterling headquarters. Rounding the corner I saw Vivian molded against him, trembling, while he let the seconds pile up without pushing her away. My thermos hit the marble with a clang. I bolted. Behind me her voice floated, "Dump that trash, who knows whose germs are on it." The lid clattered into a wastebasket. Hours later Ashton slid into bed, hauling me against him, kissing my hair, then taking me with an urgency that felt more like erasure than affection. I twisted away. When he finally noticed, he released me, puzzled. A dull cramp rippled through my abdomen. Tomorrow I'd see a doctor. 8 by dawn he was gone on a business trip. Before I reached the clinic a trending tabloid blast lit every screen. Crown Prince Ashton locked in passionate clinch with heiress Vivian. Will he stop her wedding? Comments screamed childhood sweetheart destiny, while anonymous texts slapped me, he's done slumming, know your station. My stomach cramped harder, my period was weeks late. I bought a drugstore pregnancy stick. 2 pink lines stared back. I booked an obstetric ultrasound report alone, hoping for a mistake. The paper still read pregnant. I rested a hand over the tiny knot of cells. My last blood relative, yet I couldn't shake the certainty that if Ashton knew he'd demand termination. Sitting in the corridor I scrolled to the newest blast, rumors he would crash Vivian's engagement party and claim the bride. I felt winter settle in my chest though summer baked the pavement outside. I walked back in for the procedure that same afternoon. When I returned to the empty condo I realized he was still away and the rumors remained live. Last time our photo had trended he'd yanked it in minutes, claiming he wanted to shield me. Silence this time was its own answer. 9 Every wound he'd promised to avenge. Freezer, Lake, slurs ended the same. Vivian cried, he forgave, I paid the price in bruises I couldn't invoice. Now the woman he insisted was a sister would marry another man and he sprinted toward her anyway. I finally understood, some leavings can't be delayed. I texted him we're done. 3 dots, then the single word he'd taught me, get lost. I blocked him before the second blow, grabbed the checkbook and the deed, packed, and rolled my suitcase into the night. Outside the flagship Sterling Hotel I let the tears fall. Once he'd bragged its ballroom hosted every Sterling wedding for 3 generations, I'd imagined myself in white under those chandeliers. His light had only ever grazed me, never stayed. The tighter I clenched, the faster the grains spilled, better to scatter them to the wind. Goodbye, Ashton. 10 I chose a sleepy Seabrook town where no one knew my name. Days smelled of sea salt and ground coffee. I opened a tiny cafe just busy enough to keep memories from echoing. Old Brown next door asked if I planned to stay 2 beats, then I nodded. That evening I closed shop, turned a corner, and came face to face with the past. Ashton caught my wrist before I could retreat. Hat brim and hair shadowed half my face. I think you've got the wrong person, I said. No, he answered, wind lifting my strands until our eyes locked. It's you. Why did you block me? Why did you break up with me? That get lost was a typo, the trending tabloid blasts were all a misunderstanding. Vivian paid for them and I was on a business trip, I didn't see them in time. Bewilderment spilled from his eyes as he clamped down on my hand. I pried his fingers off one by one. Let me go. We're from different worlds. You're a star in the sky, I'm just mud on the ground. I don't deserve you. No. I won't let go. If you feel insecure, then let's get married. He shook his head, obstinate. His stubbornness lit my own anger, and I finally unloaded every resentment I'd stockpiled over the years. Then I left him with one last sentence, I don't want to be hurt anymore, and I'm done enduring, so goodbye for good. Before he could react, I hurried away. 11. After that, he stopped rushing back to the office and the work he claimed to love. He simply planted himself in my cafe day after day. When he realized money couldn't buy me back, he settled for sheer presence, as if haunting my counter might soften me. I told him to go home, his whole company was waiting. He said telecommuting worked just fine. I wanted to kick him out, but I had no decent excuse, so I let it slide, call it free revenue for the cafe. I saw the obstetric ultrasound report and the paperwork you tossed in the trash at home. Why didn't you tell me? Why decide alone to end the pregnancy? His eyes were bloodshot. What difference would telling you have made? I was just clearing space for Vivian, you should thank me. I won't cling, don't worry. I'd forgotten to throw the papers in a public bin. While I tapped through delivery orders on the tablet, I kept my pace, lazy and indifferent. And stop coming. We're not getting back together. Keep calling Vivian your little sister for all I care, just leave me out of it. I can't take it anymore. You need to leave. My stare was ice. Maybe the look was too sharp, he swallowed, then pleaded, I'm sorry. I'll go back and fix everything. Wait for me, please give me one more chance. How novel, Ashton begging. My hand stilled for a few beats, I gave no answer, and silence stretched. His phone rang, someone urging him to go. After hanging up, he repeated, wait for me. I'll make this right, then finally left. Later, I heard the Hawthorne family had crashed into bankruptcy under a mountain of debt. The Silverton press office declared the old engagement fake. Yesterday's glittering heiress was now selling her handbags to pay creditors. What floored me was the buyer. Ashton had quietly devoured the Hawthorne empire himself. Spurned and seething, Vivian trashed him online, fabricated scandals, ugly rumors, but the posts vanished almost as fast as they appeared. Then one day a strange number lit up my screen. The instant I heard the voice I knew it was her. He destroyed me for you. Years of friendship, and it meant nothing. Why should you get his love so easily? I hate you both, just wait, you'll suffer too. You had money, he indulged you like a sister, so you could kick me around without consequences. You hate me? I hate you right back. You earned every bit of this, I only wish your reckoning had come sooner. My knuckles whitened around the phone. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I won't fight you for Ashton anymore, tell him to let me off, please. The woman sounded unhinged, threats 1 minute, groveling the next. I ended the call, nothing more needed saying. The rest of my former tormentors met equally bleak ends. Blair, who once locked me in the freezer vault, was dragged to court on charges Ashton personally filed. He had finally unsheathed his claws for me. So he remembered everything, only the cavalry arrived too late for me to care. The axis of our world had flipped, I no longer needed him, he was the one on his knees begging for a second glance. I urged him to go back, his whole company was waiting. He just said, remote work is the same thing. I wanted to chase him out, but I couldn't find a reason, so I pretended not to notice and treated him like a walking donation to my coffee shop. I saw the obstetric ultrasound report and the lab printout you tossed in the apartment trash. Why didn't you tell me? Why decide alone not to keep the baby? His eyes were bloodshot. What difference would telling you have made? I was just clearing space for Vivian. You should thank me, I won't cling. Relax. I'd forgotten about those papers, next time I'd dump them in the garbage can on the street. I kept processing takeout orders at my own slow pace. And don't come again. I'm not getting back together. You want to call Vivian your little sister? Fine by me. But stop dragging me into your mess, I can't take it. Time for you to leave. I stared at him, ice cold. Maybe my gaze cut too deep. He swallowed, then looked at me like a beggar. I'm sorry. I swear I'll go home and fix everything. Wait for me, please give me one more chance. How novel, Ashton actually begging. My hands paused for a few seconds, I gave no answer, and the silence stretched. His phone rang just then, whoever it was urged him to hurry. After he hung up he stressed again, wait for him, he would make it right. Then he left. Later I heard the Hawthorns were ruined, dragged under by crushing debt. The sterling publicist announced the earlier engagement had never existed. The once untouchable princess was now selling off her handbags to pay creditors. What surprised me was that Vivian's family had been swallowed by Ashton himself. Love turned to hate, she tried to smear him online, fabricating every sort of scandal about him only for the posts to vanish almost at once. Then she phoned me from an unknown number. The instant I heard the voice I knew it was her. He destroyed me for your sake, threw away years of friendship. Why do you get his love so easily? I hate you both. Wait and see, you won't get a happy ending either. Back when you had money Ashton sided with you, so you could bully me at will and never pay. You hate me? Well, I hate you too. This is the bill you owe, And in my view the interest was way overdue. I gripped the phone so hard my fingers ached. I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I won't fight you for Ashton anymore. Tell him to let me off, please. The woman must be losing her mind, first vowing revenge, then pleading for mercy. I hung up. Nothing more needed saying. None of my former tormentors ended well. Blair, who once locked me in the freezer vault, was hauled into court on separate charges Ashton dug up. He had finally, brutally, taken my side. So he remembered everything, only much too late for me to care. Our positions had flipped completely. I no longer needed him. Now he was the one pleading for me to turn around. I pressed a hand to my stomach. A tiny life was actually inside me now. Maybe hormones were to blame, but I suddenly couldn't bear to let it go. This was the only bloodkin I had left in the world. Still. I sighed, not by the question of whether to keep it or not. If I told Ashton, would he demand I get rid of it this accident? A child no one wanted might be better off never arriving. I sat on a plastic hospital bench while two girls nearby whispered about today's trending tabloid blast. Did you see? CEO Grovelfest just jumped from fiction to real life. Ashton turned down childhood heiress Vivian, but when the girl finally agreed to marry someone else he realized he'd loved her all along. Now he'll crash the wedding. Crash the wedding? Then what am I? Ashton hasn't even broken up with me. I unlocked my phone, the algorithm shoved their post at me instantly. It wasn't the old embrace photo this time. A long caption painted me as a convenient prop, the very tool Ashton needed to discover his real love for Vivian. Top comments, * marry your own tax bracket. The poor girl fling was fun, but of course the tycoon ends up with the heiress. ** CEO plus heiress is the only realistic ship. Cross-class fairy tales never last. * Reading them made me want to curl up and Casey out. I'd become a living Casey joke. I didn't need to agonize any longer. My heart turned ice cold in midsummer. I let them do the procedure that same day. My emotions corkscrewed from shock to numbness. Back home I stared at the empty rooms and remembered he'd said he was away on business. The trending blast was still up. When photos of us had climbed the charts before, he'd yanked them in minutes. I hate people picking over my private life, and I want to protect you. Not pulling this one was that protection, too? Every time Vivian and her pack hurt me he'd vow revenge. In the end everyone except Vivian got punished. She'd apologize, he'd slip me a thick envelope. Don't take it to heart, just stay clear of him. Once, with me still in a hospital bed, he left because Vivian needs me. Anniversaries found him working late while the blogs paired him with her. I used to swallow it for Nana's sake. Now Vivian's engagement had finally opened his eyes. Maybe he'd always loved her. I know when someone's halfway out the door you can't drag them back. I couldn't keep Nana, and I can't keep Ashton. His gaze still shifts to Vivian. The money he gave me bought Nana a few more years. He simply doesn't love me, and I don't blame him. It's time to leave. I thumbed out a breakup text. His reply popped before I could breathe, * get lost. * A fist of concrete slammed my chest. I blocked him instantly, desperate to preserve the last scraps of pride, stuffed the cash and the deed he'd given me into my suitcase, and quick as the eviction notices that once chased us rolled out. Passing the flagship Sterling Hotel, I cried without sound. He'd bragged its ballroom hosted every Sterling wedding. I'd daydreamed confetti drifting over us there too. He was never my private son, but for a while his light reached me. I stared at my battered suitcase and gave a bitter Casey smile. The tighter you clutch sand, the faster it runs. When you can't hold it, scatter it to the wind. Life isn't a novel. Princes don't linger over penniless blossoms. Goodbye, Ashton. I chose a sleepy Seabrook town where no one knows my name and the morning smell of salt and slow coffee. My past can rot in a shallow grave. The days leveled into quiet routine, only the occasional push notification reminded me he existed. Weeks later there was still no wedding news. Curiosity won. Every Ashton and Vivian headline had vanished, pulled, presumably. Replacing them was a terse clarification the first time I'd seen him acknowledge me online. So why had "get lost" been his answer when I walked? Whatever. The past stays past. Whoever shares my future must carry only me in his heart. Outside, gulls wheeled over perfect blue. I gazed through the window. Nana, look, no Ashton, and I'm still breathing. Don't worry. I opened a micro-cafe just busy enough to keep my hands moving. Davis next door asked if I planned to stay. I hesitated, then nodded. Closing up one evening, I rounded the corner and froze. Ashton. I spun away too late. He strode forward and seized my wrist. Sun hat low, hair shielding half my face, I said, I think you've got the wrong person. It's you. His grip tightened. A breeze lifted my hair, our eyes locked. Why block me? Why break up? Get lost was a typo. Vivian bought those trending slams, I was flying, didn't see them. I pried his fingers off, one by one. Let me go. We're different species. You're a constellation, I'm dirt. I don't match you. I won't let go. If you need a vow, let's get married. Stubbornness lit my anger, I spilled every stored-up grievance, then turned. I won't hurt anymore, and I won't wait. Goodbye. I left him standing. He didn't rush back to the office. Instead he camped at my cafe, laptop open, hoping presence beats cash. I urged him home, his staff needed him. He claimed the Wi-Fi worked fine from here. I couldn't eject a paying customer, so I tolerated the living tip jar. I found the ultrasound and the obstetric forms in the trash. Why decide alone? Why kill our child? His eyes were bloodshot. What difference would telling you make? I freed the throne for Vivian. You're welcome. I tapped an order screen, cursing myself for forgetting to dump the papers off-site. Stop coming. I won't restart us. Call Vivian your little sister till the stars burn out, just leave me out of it. My voice could have frosted the grinder. His throat worked. Sorry. Let me go home and fix everything, wait for me, please, one more chance. The phone rang, he begged again, then left. Later I heard Hawthorne had imploded under crushing debt. The Holts issued a statement, no engagement ever existed. The once untouchable princess began hawking Birkins to pay creditors. Rumor said Ashton swallowed her company whole. Vivian, poisoned by rejection, spammed the internet with ugly tales, every post vanished within minutes. She rang from an unknown number. He ruined me for you. Why should you walk off with his love? I hate you both, watch your back. Back when you had money he played guardian angel, so you could kick me without consequences. I hated you then, this payback feels overdue. Please. I was wrong. Ask him to stop. She was unraveling threats, then pleading. I hung up. The rest of the wrecking crew met their own ends. Blair, who once locked me in the freezer vault, was dragged into court on charges Ashton finally approved. He remembered everything just too late for me to care. The balance had flipped, he needed me now. Ashton won business trip and Skylar vanished. By the time I saw the trending garbage Vivian had bought, my screen popped, asterisk please play fiancé so my family survives. Asterisk I meant to type get lost to her, but Skylar's breakup text arrived at the same heartbeat and I hit the wrong chat. Message sent delivered blocked. I explained to a red exclamation mark while urgent meetings locked me in DC. I flew home the instant I could. The apartment was stripped of her. Garbage day souvenirs, obstetric ultrasound, procedure report, positive drugstore pregnancy stick. Joy sliced into horror. She carried me, then erased me. I turned the city upside down, nothing until a ping placed her in a coastal town. I told myself apology plus ring equals forgiveness. Instead she recited every scar I'd allowed to form. I finally heard the ledger she'd kept. The first time I saw her she was flipping sizzling rice noodle platters at the Campus Gate food truck strip. I'm Sky, she'd said, face glowing in the steam. Mom and Dad always crowed we had no daughter. Vivian was it. We grew up braided together, protecting her became reflex. If I failed, she'd tattle and I'd catch hell, so the habit calcified. She fell for me, I didn't fall back, but cutting her off would detonate both families. Dating Skylar was supposed to tattoo unavailable across my forehead. Vivian only sharpened her claws. I love Skylar, I wouldn't let go. I paid restitution to every attacker except Vivian, hoping to keep peace while I hunted a solution that didn't burn two dynasties. Skylar needed me, I thought that need would wait. Hawthorne collapsed, no more mines in my field. Vivian sobs that she hates me, good, hate away. I've never wanted anyone but Skylar, and I'll wait until she believes it. That woman's clearly lost her mind, I muttered. 1 second she swore she'd never let me off the hook, the next she was begging Ashton to show her mercy. I ended the call without another word. None of the people who used to bully me ended up happy. Take Blair, the girl who once locked me in the freezer vault. Ashton finally hauled her into court on separate charges. At last he was ready to be ruthless, to stand up for me. So he remembered everything, only, it was too late. Too late for me to feel anything for him again. The balance between Ashton and me has flipped. I don't need him anymore. Now he's the one on his knees, pleading for me to turn around. 12. Ashton. I never imagined Skylar would be gone when I got back from a single business trip. The trending tabloid blast was already hours old by the time I saw it. Vivian's handiwork, obvious at a glance. Her iMessage popped up right then, begging me to play along and help her family survive their crisis. I started to type "get lost," but Skylar's text arrived at the same instant. I tapped the wrong bubble and sent the word to her instead. Damn. She'd be devastated. Reading closer, I realized she was breaking up with me because of the headlines. I tried to explain, but my text bounced, she'd blocked me. Frustrated, I raced through the urgent work so I could fly home and see her. The penthouse felt hollow. Every trace of her had vanished overnight. She was really gone, she didn't want me anymore. I searched every inch, nothing. Then, in the wastebasket, I found 2 papers and a drugstore pregnancy stick. My heart lurched when I picked up the first, her obstetric ultrasound report. A grin broke across my face until the second sheet made it crumble. My hand shook. She'd terminated the pregnancy and never even told me. I had no idea where she'd gone. I put investigators on it. Weeks later I got word she'd surfaced in a seaside city called Seabrook. These days the apartment is ice cold and silent, her shadow is nowhere. I keep telling myself all I need is to find her, apologize, give her the security of my name, marry her. But she seems determined to stay gone. When she listed every wrong I've ever done, I discovered how much resentment she'd hoarded against me, against them, never let it fade. The day we met I was flipping sizzling rice noodle platters at the Campus Gate food truck strip. Sky. She'd teased. When we were kids my parents always said, we never had a daughter, so Vivian's your little sister. Look after her. We grew up side by side, if anyone picked on her I threw the first punch. Protecting her became reflex, ignore her and she'd tattle, and I'd catch hell at home. The Hawthorns and the Sterlings were close, her parents spoiled me, so it never felt wrong. After adolescence Vivian wanted more, but I didn't. I still couldn't cut her off the way I did other girls. Then Skylar came along. I thought dating someone else would cool Vivian's crush. It didn't. She hated Skylar, sent people to harass her. No matter how I tried, I couldn't untangle their feud. And since I'd never loved Vivian, the knot was hopeless. Somewhere in those months with Skylar I fell for her hard. I refused to let her go. Caught between the two women, I slipped Skylar cash and, except for Vivian, hired muscle to punish anyone who'd hurt her, always quietly. I never excused Vivian, I just didn't know how to stop her without provoking worse reprisals, parental lectures, and a family rupture. I warned Vivian in private again and again. Skylar needed me, so I assumed she wouldn't walk away. I told myself I could shelter her a little longer, that one day the mess would sort itself. Before that day came, she dumped me. Now the Hawthorne Empire is rubble, no one can hold anything over me. I finally acted. The day they filed for bankruptcy, Vivian stared at me, bewildered. I hate you, she spat. Fine, hate me. All I want is to be worthy of Skylar, nothing else matters. If I keep ignoring what she suffered, I'll lose her for good. She's the only one I've ever truly loved, and I won't let us end here. Skylar hasn't agreed to take me back, but time is long and I'm willing to wait. I believe she'll turn around.